A bit of the devil got into Crockett. He leaned across the aisle and touched a forefinger to his hat brim. "Morning, Paisley. Nice to see you." She slowly raised her long lashes, her mouth in a tight line. "Crockett," she hissed. After the single word, she turned to the window, clearly dismissing him. But he was like a bull charging an interloper, not content to share a pasture or a train ride without more. "How have you been?" he asked quietly. Swinging back around, she spat. "I might have no choice but to be on this train with you, but don't expect me to carry on a conversation." He tried to block out her beautiful features, so close and yet so far, tried to maintain some semblance of composure. But the little freckle at the corner of her mouth stole his focus. He'd especially loved how that freckle had seemed to wink at him when he kissed her. She could deny their close friendship, the times they'd spent together, and the secrets they'd shared beneath a moonlit sky. But that damnable freckle made her the same girl she'd always been. "I'm sorry about—" "Who? Daddy? My baby brother? Mama?" Her chest heaved, and she shot him a look of contempt. Her voice dripped ice. "If not for your family, they'd all be alive. Before this is over, you legends will probably send us all to our deaths. Don't pretend we're friends, or that you care." The stinging rebuke let him know how far they actually were from friendship. Hell. However, blaming him for Braxton's death was unreasonable. If her baby brother hadn't run afoul of the law and ended up in Crockett's court, he wouldn't have been sent to prison, where a group of inmates beat him to death. As for her father, old man Mahone had died a few days ago of what his short-fused oldest son Farrell claimed was poisoned water. He accused the legends, vowing to see them pay. Colleagues had cautioned Crockett about getting involved, but he had a family obligation to figure out if the water had been treated with arsenic, and if so, who'd done it. He knew damned well his family hadn't. If he could prove it and end this feud— "Believe it or not, I am sorry," he said softly. "Help me prove we had nothing to do with that." "You legends, with more money than God, always twist the facts to make them show what you want. Excuse me." Paisley rose. Clutching her skirt, she hurried down the narrow aisle toward the next car, her spine stiff. Damn it, how could he fix things if he got no cooperation? A year and a half ago, upon entering the bar, he'd been appointed judge of the 46th Judicial District in Quanah, Texas. Shortly after, Braxton Mahone stood in his courtroom charged with manslaughter. The facts were indisputable. Braxton had fought with a man in a saloon, pummeling the guy with his fists until he'd gone down, where he'd struck his head on an iron footrest and died. Crockett released a weary sigh. He'd been over this 1,000,000 times. The resulting sentence had been appropriate. He still stood by his decision, even though it poured kerosene on the fire already started between his grandpa and Paisley's father. The two neighbors had been going at it for years. In the beginning, it had been the land, then fence cutting and missing cattle, each time gradually progressing. Now they were facing a murder charge. Couldn't get more serious than that. He wasn't about to let the family name get dragged through the mud. Everything they'd worked for, their hard-earned reputation of being fair and honest, had been for the good of their neighbors, the community, and Texas. Paisley's wild accusation that the legends had caused Caroline Mahone's death was beyond ludicrous. The woman had died on her own property after an accidental fall from a horse. Now it seemed nothing would settle the dispute. Certainly not Joe's death. Far from it. The door at the end of the car flung open, and a passenger screamed. Crockett glanced up to see a masked gunman clutching Paisley flush against him as a shield. Anger and a healthy dose of fear widened her green eyes, but she appeared calm otherwise. He sucked in a quick breath, his jaw tightening. Through narrowed eyes, he watched every twitch the gunman made. He had to find an opening. "Folks, put your money and jewelry in the bag when my compadre comes around."